Hello, hello, Rich32G here, and today I'm going to be bringing you some of the Honda Civic British touring car from Mores. I was going to do some Croft, but it just didn't look right there for whatever reason. I don't know whether it's modded content, I just wasn't happy with how it looked. So I've come here where there's a HDR profile. I think there is actually for Croft. Maybe I'm being a bit mean, but I just like the visuals here for showcasing rFactor2. I'll put it like that. It just looks a bit better, and you guys are watching a video, so you want it to look good. But yeah, so the Honda Civic British touring car. First impressions, it's different. So most people, including me, will be very used to driving rear-wheel drive cars, and this handles completely differently, obviously being a front-wheel drive car, but not only a front-wheel drive car, an exceptionally powerful front-wheel drive car. If memory serves, this has got some 330 brake horsepower to the front wheels, which is insane for a front-wheel drive car, really. And it makes the handling characteristics kind of unique, because the steering can go somewhat light and vague because of that, but at the same time, well, not at the same time, but at other times it can go very heavy and seemingly unresponsive at the other end of the scale, just because you've got so much power going through those two front wheels. So it takes away some of the steering sort of characteristics from the car. But it has its benefits, like no slide nearly is uncatchable, because you just give it a footful of throttle and it should bring it right back, pointing in the right direction, just because of how front-wheel drive cars work, really. But as for how they look, I think the model looks nice, like this Pertec car ahead of me. I think it looks good following it. The reflections look good. And actually, if I'm honest, as I said in my last video where I was at Loch Drummond in the Clio, the graphics actually are impressing me going forward. Ooh, with rFactor2. Now, I'm getting much better single screen performance than triple, obviously, but the driving is that good. I'm not overly missing the fact I'm not driving on triples right now, and that might sound insane to say, but it really does feel nice. Oh, bit of a moment there. See if I can keep up with this Pertec chap. But yeah, obviously I want my triples on, and I think with the improvements they recently made to Loch Drummond and some reassurance I got on the forums that these kind of improvements could be seen in other ISI tracks, I think in the future my triples on my GTX 660 is going to be a viable thing in rFactor2, which is great. I suppose I should talk some more about the car. It's hard to say really what it's like, because let me compare it, if I may, with the Kia from iRacing. That's a car I drove extensively when it was released, for the very reason it was front-wheel drive, if I'm honest. And this feels more connected to the tarmac. and that is, in my opinion, 100% down to the tyre model. That's not slagging iRacing off, but by definition I think tyre model 4 is very slidey and not in a predictable way. It tends to be slidey, and you just get used to it. Whereas this, when the rear goes, it's all very undramatic and you can get on with it. And just through my wheel, with basically standard settings, I'm using a G27, the feedback seems somewhat more powerful, but I've always considered the iRacing feedback good and very delicate rather than like powerful. The force feedback in rFactor2, in my opinion, is somewhere between Assetto Corsa and iRacing. It's not quite got the power at the wheel, I don't think, that Assetto Corsa provides, but other people feel that dulls the FFB down, and it's definitely not as light as iRacing is, so that's where I'd go with the force feedback. But this is kind of a disjointed video. I'm just trying to concentrate on driving as well, but I'm really liking how it handles, and if you get a few guys fairly equal capability, I can see the recreation of BTCC races happening. Like, it's going to be fun, it's going to be close, you're going to be door banging, and it's just going to be fun. Everyone's going to have a smile on the face, you know. It handles in a really predictable manner, just because front wheel drive is predictable, you know. You get out of shape, you either, well, I mean, this is going to sound stupid because it's the same as you do with rear wheel drive, but you get out of shape, so the rear goes, loads of throttle, and if you're understeering, give it less throttle. Simple as that. But it's all a lot less dramatic than with rear wheel drive cars. And to any Americans out there, because it always seems to be Americans that don't like front wheel drive cars, I'm not really sure why, give it a go. If you've got rFactor2, give it a download, you've got no to lose. But honestly, this is great fun. It really is. Drives really nicely. It'll certainly have me playing more rFactor2. I actually can't wait to try this around Drummond as well, because the racing there will be brilliant, I'm sure. Oh, sorry there, mate. I'm probably going to post a replay as well of this race, just because I've been asked to do so. People want to see some external visuals of rFactor2, so I'll post that up for you guys sometime shortly, I would imagine. I think I've only got a couple of minutes left on this race. Also, this is a free ISI track. Well, it's funny that I'm saying free. All content with rFactor2, the ISI release, is free. So go and give this track a download. It actually works really well with this car, I'm thinking. It provides overtaking possibilities, but for sure it definitely works in the Clio Cup. You can just imagine coming down to these corners, having someone dive in. Oh! See if I can dive up the inside of these two. It does require you to put a fair old amount of steering lock onto it, but it's all, again, it's all very undramatic, predictable. I should imagine to drive fast, like some of the guys on the server were earlier. You're gonna need some confidence, and happy with it moving around. But yeah, overall a good release. I'm happy with it. Go and check it out, guys. Free now. Recommend it around this track. Looks great, drives well. If you've not bought rFactor2, you know what, I'm going to say it, go and buy it. It looks good. It drives well. And they're certainly making progress with all of their current content and their plans for the future. So yeah, I believe this race is now finished, so please like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you soon. Cheers.